Hello everyone，大家好，欢迎大家今天来参加这一场 Choose Friends 的秋季讲座。那今天我们主要是要介绍 N+I 这一个联网的部分。好，那我是今天的主持人。Hello everyone, welcome to this webinar session Choose Friends. This is hosted by Campus Friends Taiwan 法国教育中心主办的。Today we will introduce the N+I network.Which provides different programs in science and engineering fields in France. We are honored to invite the Executive Director of the N+I network, Dr. George Santini, and his colleague, Mr. Guillaume Picard, to share their insights. They will provide you the most updated information about what N+I provides and how to apply.During the presentation session, if you have any questions, please use the QA function and you can write down the questions. We will have a QA session after the presentation. So now I will give the floor to Dr. Santini. Dr. Santini, please.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon to you all in Taiwan. It's early morning here in France, so we're pleased to host you and to give you some information about what the institutions belonging to the network N+I are doing. First, I want to thank the organization of Campus France in Taiwan, in Taipei, for hosting us and inviting us to make the presentation about the French higher education engineering institution. The whole goal of this presentation is to give you all the information aimed at performing a higher education project in France, which will fit your personal project. So as I move to the other, the idea is to give you the information about your project to find a higher education. You've had the information about how to ask your questions, so please do that using the chat functionality on the Zoom platform, and we will of course answer your questions at the end of the presentation. Now, your higher education study abroad project. You're currently in a Taiwanese high school or university, and your goal is to choose a French higher education institution in science and engineering. And this can be met by the offer of the French grandes écoles, which are parts of the university system in France. And this will help you to target a master degree in science and technology and engineering through the N+I portal. And we will show you what the portal is offering you in terms of a variety of choice and opportunities for location. Now, the French Master in Engineering is the best route to the professional training. This has, because the curricula of this institution is very much focused on what the industry in general is doing. That means that the whole goal is to help you get a professional training in science, technology, and engineering. The quality of the French Masters in Engineering offered by the Grandes Écoles is a high quality training. And this high quality is guaranteed by a number of organizations, starting by the national accreditation, which is given to all the institutions belonging to the N+I network, which is the CTI, is a National Commission of Accreditation in France. This accreditation is completed by another level, which is the international accreditation, giving the label, European label, which is the EURACE label, which is granted to all high quality curricula in Europe. And more recently, the programs of having the national accreditation has been granted the national Taiwanese recognition as being equivalent to the master degree in Taiwan. So you have this all levels of quality guarantee for the training provided by the high education institution in France. The professionalism in employment is guaranteed by a high level of internship during the curriculum. The curriculum, which can last either 3 or 5 years, or 2 years for international students. We will come to that details later on. It comprises a large number of internships in companies. And this number of internships guarantees a very high level of employment, which is that more than 90% of the students, as they finish their study, find a very good job within the 6 months after they finish their degree. And the international students have the possibility to stay 1 year in France after they graduated for a master degree to find an opportunity, which is very, very important for international students because they have an international structure, culture. Now, performing a high study abroad program for an international student is a very high value investment. You will have a 20% premium salary because you have a study abroad international culture and training. And of course, having this investment and this high value return, you get your payback in less than 5 years of the investment that you have put into your training during the years that you spent in the higher education institution. Now, let's focus on, now that I have shown the interest of getting a master degree in engineering in France, let me tell you some words about the network N+I, which is a consortium. We are a consortium of 44 CTI French engineering grandes écoles, all accredited, as I mentioned. We are the largest French and the first French network of higher education engineering, which has a very large number of students, all in master programs, more than 35,000 of them. These students, 12,000 of them get their master degree every year. And this is possible in more than 160 specialized engineering master programs, which are all specialties and all characterizing the diplôme d'ingénieur, which is the master degree in engineering again. And these 160 different specialization decompose in more than 450 different training paths, or if you will, sub-branching specialties that are offered to you, which really can fit your personal project. The consortium has been in existence for more than 22 years, and it has helped more than 3,200 master degrees awarded to international students coming from a large number of countries, more than 80 countries. And among these students, we found a very high level of women. That means that the science and technology are very much praised by the women as well. And we are one of the largest European operational network of science and engineering for international studies. The main objectives of the consortium is to help international students and French students as well to perform their study abroad project. That means that we help international students from abroad to come to France and take on their study abroad, take on their training in the master degree in science and engineering, as well as we help the French students to achieve the study abroad project, which is a compulsory part of their training as they are in France. In addition to helping the students to complete their study abroad project, the N+I consortium offers a very developed and very complete Path to Success program, which decomposes in a variety of services, including welcome, including language training, and of course, including cultural and methodological coaching at the beginning of their training as they arrive in France. This is very important because the transition is something which needs to be totally mastered, and the programs that we offer, which ensure the success for students, has been proved very efficient over the years. These engineering studies are covering a very broad areas of a range of areas. They go from anywhere from biology to biotechnology, comprising mathematics, physics, electronics, computer science, aeronautics. All the areas of science, technology, and engineering are covered by the 160 different programs. So you have a very broad choice of programs which are offered by the institutions, and you can choose between, and we will give you the operational details which will tell you how to get the best offer that will fit your personal project. The institutions are comprised in the network are located in a number of cities over France. You can choose the location as well as you can choose the institution that you want in which you want to complete your studies in the country. So it is a very diverse and very complete coverage of institution over the countries. Now, why come to France? And I want to tell you that France is one of the best choices to study the country where you will have to spend your study abroad project. France has a very long-standing technological tradition in many areas. It is one of the most advanced countries in aerospace, nuclear engineering, mechanical construction, and a number of other areas. So you will find the top of the art technology in this country. French higher education institutions have a very strong professional focus. I have already said some words about that. This is because of the links existing between these institutions and the companies. Many of these institutions have been sponsored by companies and they've been created by companies because there is a need to train specifically people adapted to the needs of these companies. So the link between these institutions and companies is very strong. France is one of the biggest producing country in terms of GNP. It's a very, very good choice in terms of cost quality compared to countries such as the UK and the USA. I'll let you find the numbers and you will confirm this. The language is not an issue. First, many programs are totally taught in English. Secondly, for the rest of the program, which is taught in French, the services provided by the N+I consortium are very adapted to come to you a good command of the French language in order to be able to follow the courses in French. And having followed this path, you will become a really multicultural student. You will become a multicultural manager. And this is very much appreciated by the companies who are looking for managers who are having command many languages, many cultures, because many companies have operations in many countries, and having international personnel in their available is a very good value for that. And of course, getting to France is getting an opening to the European countries. Now, the programs which are offered by the N+I consortium of institutions are composed in short programs, which are either semester exchange, summer school preparation programs, or shorter program in order for you to discover the technology and the culture of the country, which is very, very short programs. And of course, degree awarding programs, which can lead you to the master program in engineering, and that can be achieved either in 2, 3, or 5 years, depending on your level of entry. And of course, other more advanced awarding programs where you have institutions having signed for a bilateral agreement for double degree, or even the bachelor program, which is currently being developed by some of the institutions. One point which I want to mention, that the studying in France after crisis of the pandemic has now come to still a situation, which is that the general activity is back. The level of pandemic is low, and the life is, I would say, quite as normal as before. And of course, the French government has taken very aggressive vaccination policy. About 80% of the population is now has gone totally vaccinated. The academic activities have resumed normally since September of this year. And a stress has been put into increasing the protection and adaptation of the Path to Success programs, which is has also been done. And the training in each school is now a combination of online and, of course, live courses, which have resumed normally. We have seen international students who have arrived this year in September and who have reached the school of destination normally. And all of this is followed by very close coaching by the study, the institution, and then PROSAI itself. Now, how to apply and how to access to the 160 different programs? It's very simple. And this is the added value of the N+I organization, which offers one single portal, which will lead you to complete one single application. And in doing so, your application, which can totally and very normally target the training that you have identified, but at the same time, your application can be accessible to all the institutions, and they can come to you with offering programs. And it's very normal, it's very frequent that students who have completed the dossier get more than 5 or 10 offers, between which they have to choose. So the beauty of the system is that you file in one single application, which will give you the lead, the way to all programs. You don't have to bother to apply to all individual programs one at a time. You do that only one time through the portal, and you can, doing so, access all the very broad range of offer of the institutions, and they all come back to you with offers. The engine and the portal the engine which is part of the portal gives you the opportunity to identify those institutions or those programs that can fit better your project. If you're more interested in chemical engineering, you will find the ones that are more focused on chemical engineering, or the same for computer science or mechanical or electrical engineering or any other area of technology. You just go through a very simple game of keywords, and that will lead you to the system. The programs are all adapted, of course, to your level. Not only they adapted to the areas that you want to choose, but they also adapted to your level. You can apply if you just finished your high school, and in doing so, you can access to the bachelor and the master degree in 3, then 2 years. This is a combined or individual application possible. And of course, if you've already completed your bachelor in your country, this is also possible. And in that case, you can have the master in engineering in 2 years. So whatever the level that is your level, you can apply, and you can target the master degree in science and engineering. If you already finished your master's degree in your country, you can also apply for a postmaster program, which is a 1-year program offered by a number of institutions as well. This is a summary of what I just mentioned, which shows the different points of entry after the secondary school, during a bachelor study, if you want to also after a bachelor study, depending if you want to have a foundation year or not, depending on your level. The program is such as it is adapted to all levels of entry, and it comprises the possibility, of course, to benefit of all the packages of Path to Success programs combined with the curriculum itself very nicely in order to achieve the goal to take you to the master level in the required time adapted to your level. Now, the N+I application process through the portal is very simple. This is all done online. You connect to the portal, enter your data and all the elements concerning your application process. There is a 50 euros opening file fees, which is, by the way, waived if you are belonging to a university with which the N+I network already has an agreement that can be told you by the university which you belong to. Once you have completed your validation of your application, this is taking place by the organization N+I, just to make sure that your dossier is complete. Then when it is complete, it is been studied and analyzed by all the institutions part of the consortium. And after that, you receive one or more offers from the institution of course, you can indicate which are the ones that you prefer in your dossier. And once you have that, you can choose which one you like the best and enter into the system to become an international student in one of the institutions themselves. And to finish, I will give you some more detail about the Path to Success packages that are offered in addition to the training offered by the institution themselves. This is totally managed by the consortium itself. It is the welcome package, which is as you arrive in the country, you're offered a certain number of services that make your arrival very nice, very smooth, including transfer to the institution in which you will spend your study time, either 2-3 years or more. At the beginning of, right after your arrival, you can benefit from a language integration program, which will help you through a very comprehensive and intensive program where you have to learn and get a level, the French language, and get a level of command which is adapted to what you need to have to be able to follow the courses. And in addition to that, if you want to have more integration facilities offered to you, you can benefit from a one full semester of methodological training, which takes place at the institution or at another institution close by. This semester is credited by 30 credits, which is the normal number of credits allowed to a one semester. And this is a tailor-made mixture of courses and language and methodological training, which will smooth in your arrival and starting of the program at the institution itself. I think this is concluding the presentation, which is a very general presentation concerning what the consortium is offering. We will be very pleased. I have the team with me today. We will be very pleased to answer your questions, which you might have put in through the chat box of the system of the platform, and we will take the questions as they have arrived. I'm asking Angela maybe to manage this part of identifying the questions and making sure that we can answer them all. Thank you for your attention, and we will now start the Q&A session.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. Santini. So we will start the QA session. The first question is, what are some particular features of studying engineering in France than in other countries?
I would say that it's the very, very well integrated mixture between science and technology. That means that in many countries, there is the science and the technology are treated differently. You have in many universities around the world, you have the fact that you have a science department and engineering department, and it is such as there is a difference between the two. The very specificity of the École d'ingénieur is that they mix the two. That means that you have a scientist in engineering who is well trained in the basic science and as well as the technology. And this is extremely well appreciated by the companies, because companies now are developing technologies and activities that are very highly scientific based, as well as they are very much technology based. So the combination of the two and the fact that the student, the awardee of the master degree in science and technology has a very good command of science and technology is extremely well appreciated by the companies, and it is very frequent that scientists in companies ensure very high level of scientific representation across the scientific community as well. So this is, I think, one of the major differences, which is an asset, very good asset.
Yeah, this is a very good asset. And actually, I believe the students will also having more advantages after having the studies, the trainings in France. Okay, so the second question, there are some students who are not very familiar with the schools on the N+I platform. Do they have to fill the list to choose the application? Do they need to?
Yeah. They can indicate, but I will ask Guillaume to give me some additional information. But they can indicate which one they know, they prefer, or they would like to, they dream, or the one they dream at, and this is totally possible. But of course, they may also receive offers from others whom they have not thought about.
Yeah, because under the circumstances that if they're not familiar with the schools, the students might not be able to indicate the schools that they want to apply. So maybe Mr. Picard, you can explain more about that.
Yes, just a few words to complete what George says. It's possible to indicate some school if you know already them, of course. But if you don't, you are free to indicate thematics that you are interested by, and also the type of academic programs, of course. And all the N+I members will look into the applications of the student in their fields, and they will study their application. So it's not compulsory to know already the school you want to go in, of course. All academic members of N+I will look into your application.
There is an additional point, is that as they search through the engine, which are the schools that more or less correspond to the area that they're having an interest in, they can get the list of these schools, and then there is a link between which leads you to the website of the school. And in going through the website of the school, generally they get a very large amount of information concerning what the school is doing, what are the relationships with the universities linked close by, and what are the different elements corresponding to this school. So it is very easy to get the information once they have identified. For example, if you are interested in aeronautics, you can find a list of the schools which are linked to a training associated with aeronautics, and then you have the possibility to visit the site, of course, of all these institutions.
Thank you very much. Very clear. So next question is the offered diploma from these programs, are the diplomas recognized by the Taiwanese government?
Yes, this is what I just mentioned at the beginning. First off is the fact that all the programs proposed by the N+I organization need to have the national accreditation. This is a requirement that we have as a consortium, because our consortium is totally managed by institutions. We are not we are a non-profit organization at the service of our institutions. So the institutions are controlling what we are doing. So all the programs are accredited by the French National Accreditation Agency. And it has been a recent agreement between the government of Taiwan and the government of France, saying that the master degree in engineering are the ones that are recognized by the French authority, are recognized by the national Taiwanese authority, as well as granting the master level and the master degree.
That would be very, very great. Yeah, for Taiwanese students who are intending to pursue their studies in France.
Of course.
Yeah, so if a student wants to apply the scholarship on the platform, how do they do? And what would be the criteria for the scholarship evaluation?
Okay, so first off, in order to apply to a scholarship, the student needs to have at least one offer, and he needs to have chosen one offer, because the scholarship will be supported also by the institution.
Mm.
And the calendar and the schedule for applying to different types of scholarship is over the year. The platform is not taking care of the scholarships. That should be done independently. Okay. For example, if the student wants to apply to the French most prestigious and most interesting, I would say, scholarship program, which is the Eiffel program, which I'm sure, Angela, you know very well. Mm-hmm. That needs to be done early in the year. And this is why we, as a consortium, have organized a first session, which will give the opportunity for the students to have an offer before the deadline for applying to the Eiffel program of scholarship is happening.
Okay. And so this is very clear about the scholarship. The students need to apply separately. So is there an option of entering school in spring session? How many sessions of applications are offered?
Most of the schools are offering sessions starting in September.
So it's only for fall admission.
Yeah, fall admission.
Okay. There are some students, they would like to have the PowerPoint that you just shared. Is that possible that you can?
Yeah, we can share this on this one.
Yeah.
About the spring, if the student apply in session 1, we have 4 application sessions per year. So actually we are in the first session, and if they applied in session 1, it's possible that some students may come to France to start their preparation program in spring. So as George said, of course, the academic training in master will start in September, but it's possible that they come to France in April or March, before maybe end of February, and start the preparation in France.
Okay, so the preparation session can be started before the scholar session.
For session 1 applicants, yes.
Okay, well noted. If a student did not have such good grades during their university studies, but they're having great professional experience and high reputation in the professional field, is there the possibility that they can win the scholarship?
I would say that first, if the grades of the student are, I would say, average, then it is very likely that the institutions might resort to offering the possibility to have a foundation year, which will give all the prerequisite and all the fundamental base for the student to make sure that he or she is at the level to be able to follow the following 2 years of schools. That means that in this case, the student would have to spend 3 years to get his or her master degree.
But even if they already have maybe 1 or 2 years professional experience, it will still be the same situation?
This is left, honestly, this is left at the decision of the institution when the institution makes the offer. We are, as a consortium, we're managing the process. We are not making the decision.
So it will really depend on the decisions of the institutions, which the students are applying. Okay.
Because that can be on the case-by-case basis, and if the profile of the student, if is very interesting, the company where the student has been has been working is very much in the core of the activity of the institution. That may trigger some interest and a specific offer that the institution might make at this time.
So if I can wrap up, it would be more like when the student is applying the institution, he needs to provide related proofs to approve that he is in the right field or the right core, and he has experience with the core of the institution that he's applying. Yeah. That would be the case.
The overall goal of all of this is that to ensure success.
Yes. Okay.
Because institutions well understand that it is a very important investment to go abroad for 2 or 3 years. For the student is the same. So both the institution and the student want to make sure that as they embark into such an operation, there will be the success at the end.
Okay, very clear. Thank you. The next question is regarding the French language. If a student already have a certain level of French language ability, do they still have to join the language training during summer?
That is, again, this is left at the appreciation of, first off, during the application process, there is a more, I would say, thorough evaluation of the level. And Aude and Guillaume will give you the numbers in terms of either whether it's A2, B1, etc. So depending on the level. And then once the level of the student has been correctly evaluated, then the institution makes the proposal as to whether or not it is required to have an additional training in French.
There is a small complement to what George says. There is a rule that only students with a B2 level in French can request an exemption process. Okay. And for all N+I packages we present briefly, it's possible to ask for an exemption, and there is an exemption procedure according to each of the type of the packages. So it can be different. And what is important to understand is that those N+I packages, Path to Success packages, are requested by the schools in the best interest of the students, so they can succeed.
Yes, of course.
To support the students, because sometimes they think that they can skip those packages, but it will be the decision in the end of their recruiting school about this.
Okay, thank you very much. And then still another question regarding language criteria. It's about English. What would be the English certifications that are accepted? Would it be TOEIC, TOEFL, or IELTS? And what will be the minimum criteria for the acceptance?
Well, you know, there is first we need to understand that all the institutions and for all students, including the national students, there is a requirement that at the end of the curriculum, at the end of the curriculum of the program, the students can certify a B2 level in English, and sometimes it's even required to have a C1 level in English at the end of the course. Okay, that means that if the student starts a program of 2 years with a B1 level, that should be no problem. But that would be at the beginning. At the beginning, you know, at the moment they start the program. But the requirement is in order to have the degree, and again, this applies to international students as well as to national students. Okay. The requirement is the B2 level B2 or C1 level in English.
Okay, well noted. So if a student wants to prepare for the relevant examinations, do you have any suggestions that how do they prepare, or where can they find helpful resources?
In that you're talking about language or general?
In general.
In general, you know, when we say that the students have the possibility to join the programs at different levels, that means that their level is evaluated precisely by the institution when they make the offer.
Mm-hmm.
That means that if an institution gets back to a student with an offer of 2 years program after the bachelor in Taiwan, for example, that means that the institution has evaluated that the level which is already achieved is sufficient to complete successfully the rest of the program. And this is the answer to your question is the result of the process of evaluation of the file by the institutions.
Okay. Yeah, that's well noted. Next question would be regarding internship. Will the schools and the institutions assist students in finding internship during their studies or after their studies? Yes.
The schools generally help the student. They have specific persons dedicated to coaching students as they do their internship. Mm-hmm. It is very frequent, specifically for the internship which takes place during the last semester, which is what we call the S10. Mm-hmm. The last year of the program has 2 semesters, mm-hmm. S9 and S10, and generally the schools require that the student takes an internship of 6 months within a company. Mm-hmm. And it is very frequent that many schools receive more offers from companies that they have students. I can guarantee to you that because I was personally in the position of manager of a specific school, mm-hmm. and for the last semester we had frequently requests from companies asking for intern, mm-hmm. and all of our students were already having a position. And one more point concerning the internship. Internship must be, according to the French law, must be paid by the companies as long as they are over 2 months.
Okay, as long as it's over 2 months, it's regulated.
As long as it's over 2 months, the student gets a well, it's not a salary because it's not permanent, but gets an amount of money, mm-hmm. the minimum of which has been set by the government to 563 euros. This is the minimum. Mm-hmm. And I can tell you, because I've seen the amount of money which was given by companies for internship, that is frequent that we have the equivalent of salary of over 1,000 euros per month.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's in my personal experience. That was what I earned during my internship. When I had my studies in France. So yeah. And there are some students, potential students, they have already been working for a long time. Some of them would like to know, is there any age limitations for the application if the professionals, they want to apply for N+I programs?
I would say that there is no age limitation as far as I know. It's only one. The only one age limitation would apply if they apply to a specific program which we call apprenticeship. Mm-hmm. And for these programs, there is an age limitation of 30 years old.
Okay. But it's for apprentice.
But this is only for apprentice. Mm-hmm. But I would say the normal training has no limitation of age.
Okay. Is it much accessible to get a job? Is it more accessible to get a job in France with the diplôme d'ingénieur?
Oh yes, because diplôme d'ingénieur is highly valued by companies, and as I mentioned before, there are some areas where there are more offers than a possible engineer from France. And another point is the diplôme d'ingénieur is so much valued by the by not only the French companies, but also the European companies and also international companies. You have to realize that 20% of students who have a diplôme d'ingénieur get a job abroad. So that means that there is a lack in some areas, a lack of awardees of young students having their diploma, because companies are looking for people.
20% working abroad, it's quite high, the rate.
20% are working abroad.
Okay, thank you very much.
I'm sorry, just one additional point.
Yes, please.
There are some institutions that have between 10 and even more, some are up to 30% of international students in their that have enrolled in their institution. And of course, most of these, some of these international students, when they have their degree, they go abroad in many countries, including their country of origin, of course.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, I think that will be all for today's session. Thank you, Dr. SANTINI and Mr. Picard, for the very clear explanation. And we will be ending the session today. Thanks for all the participation. And now I'm turning to Chinese for an ending. 最后要提醒大家，谢谢大家今天来参加。那要提醒大家，就是法国教育中心有举办那个用讲座自拍画面分享心得的小活动。那这个小活动呢，现在就让大家给一分钟的时间，你可以趁着这个时间跟这个讲座的画面自拍。那我们在公告里面呢有贴就是这个讲座的活动连结，大家只要参加2场以上，所以今天这一场还有下礼拜那一场还有机会参加2场以上的讲座，那分享你的自拍画面传到 FB， 然后加上正确的 hashtag， 再把这个截图寄给我，就可以拿到精美的小礼物。那我们今天的讲座就到这里，下周5是这个系列的最后一场讲座，那我们会介绍法国的艺术学校联网 Campus Art， 那我们就下个礼拜见咯，谢谢大家 Thank you very much. See you. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much of course, to Campus France for making possible this presentation. We very much appreciated your commitment to promoting the French institutions and specifically the engineering ones. We remain at your disposal if you want to have more information and specific questions. Don't hesitate to contact us. We will be pleased.
Yeah, thank you. We would also hope that one day the frontier would be open and we have real events that we can invite you.
I would appreciate coming back to Taipei and meeting Xin and you and the team again.
Yeah, great. Thank you so much. See you. Bye bye.
Thank you so much. Bye bye.